Hello and welcome back to Maths with Mr. Duffield. This one for my third form. You've been assigned this worksheet from Corporate Maths on rearranging formulae. I'm going to go through one of the questions for you to make sure that you are okay with this. First of all, question 3 part A, v equals u plus 10t. Work out the value of v when u equals 4 and t equals 3. What that means is I'm going to replace each of these letters with their respective values. So let me write that out full to begin with. V equals u. In this question we say u equals 4, so I'm just going to replace u with 4. And t being 3, I'm going to replace 10t with 10 and 3. Now we know that when there's a number next to a letter like this, we call this a coefficient. They're being multiplied together. And so it is when t is 3 here. V is going to be 4 plus 10 times 3. In other words, 4 plus 30, or just 34. So far, so good. Part B. Make u the subject of the formula. Instead of being v equals whatever, I need to rearrange this so that it's u equals whatever. I'm going to achieve that in this particular question by taking away 10t from both sides. We've thought about this in a couple of ways in our maths classes. One is doing the same thing to both sides of this equal sign, and the other, if you remember, is picking up the positive 10t, dragging it to the other side of the equation, and when it does, its sign changes. In this case, it goes from positive to negative. You can think about it in either way, but in either respect, the 10t on the right hand side of this disappears, and then a minus 10t is applied to v, so it becomes v minus 10t. Okay, so my final answer is u equals v minus 10t. Brilliant. The last little section, make t the subject of the formula. So instead of it being u equals that I want it to be t equals whatever. Now that's a little bit more involved, because I'm going to have to first of all separate out 10t first, and then deal with that 10. But I'll get to that in a second. First of all, to get 10t on its own, I'm going to do something similar to what we did up here, but with the letter u instead. U is the one that's being dragged over to the other side, and u is the one that's being subtracted from both sides. It doesn't matter which one of those you think of it as. It works either way. You end up with v minus u equals, this is a positive u, this is a negative u, effectively cancels out and just leaves 10t. Now if I just want the letter t, not 10t, but just t, I need to deal with this 10. And for that I need to refer to what I talked about earlier, the fact that 10t, that counts as multiplying. 10 times t is what's happening here. And I need to do the opposite. The opposite of multiplying by 10 is dividing by 10. If I do that to both sides, this 10 is divided by 10 effectively cancels out and just leaves me with t, and then the entirety of v minus u is being divided by 10. That creates a fraction. So my final answer here, t on its own is v minus u over 10. I hope that this makes sense. That's question 3 all done. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm using Teams as well. That's the new school policy. Let's keep communicating and let's get this work done. Best of luck.